This is Holy Thursday, also known as Maundy Thursday. This comes from the Latin mandatum novum, a new mandate of love. What is that new mandate of love? That we, as it says in the scripture, in Jesus' last conversation with the disciples, love one another. Now, Jesus washed the disciples' feet, and we can't touch one another. So, what do? We remember the new mandate of love, and we love one another.
The scripture reading today is excerpts from John chapter 13. Now before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to God. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. Jesus, knowing that God had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter then said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who has bathed does not need to wash, except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who was about to betray him. For this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean."
After he had washed their feet, had put on his robe, and had returned to the table, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example, that you also should do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them."
Little children, I am with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and as I said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I am going you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you should also love one another. By this everyone will know you are my disciples, if you have love for one another.
Years ago, Broadway's own Mari Evans wrote an original Maundy Thursday hymn called Jesus at the Table. It was premiered here at Broadway. As we listen to a recording with Mari playing the piano and Vickie Daniels singing, you will see photos at some tables from around our lives together.
You have kept me, Father. You have kept me. You have fed me, Father. You have fed me. Made a way out of no way, Father. Ease my pain and wrap your arms around me. Kept me safe and covered me with love. I praise you. Kept me safe and covered me with love. kept me safe and covered me with love. I was aimless, Father, wandering on my own. It was grace that saved me. It was grace alone. Heard my cry and you claimed my sorrow. Gave me strength so I could face tomorrow. Kept me safe and covered me with love. I praise you. Kept me safe and covered me with love. Praise you, praise you, praise you, praise you. Kept me safe and covered me with love.
We are going to be moving into a time of hand washing. If you are with others, wash their hands. And if you are alone, prayerfully wash your own hands. This is a rite of self-offering in times of pandemic. On this night, we recall the night that Jesus, at supper with his disciples, poured himself out as an oblation, a complete self-offering of love and service through the humble act of washing the disciples' feet. In these days of pandemic, we continue to offer ourselves in love and service as Jesus did, for the sake of the most vulnerable among us. And so, in an act that may formerly have been undertaken as a self-protective and antiseptic act, we open ourselves to the transforming power of God in what is now for us a sacred act of hand washing. We do this not only for ourselves, but in love and self-offering to every person we meet, and especially for the most vulnerable among us. We begin by washing, as we were washed in our baptism. We cleanse our hands as we were cleansed in the waters of new birth. We do this not because we are afraid, but because we were commanded to love, to cleanse our hands and gather in spirit. This is how we love the vulnerable, whom Jesus loved. May we be instruments of love. May the sacrifices we make be for the good of the human family, near and far. One by one, I invite each of you present to prayerfully wash your hands, thoroughly and intentionally, with soap and water, not for yourself, but sacrificially for the sake of every vulnerable person. Blessed be our God, forever and ever. May God bless you and keep you on Maundy Thursday as you commemorate Jesus' Last Supper with his disciples. Amen.